Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Game 3 in the semifinal B of of Lucky and, of course, Polt. Stefano, of course, winning in the last series, and he is waiting in the grand finals to receive whoever may win this next set. And it is currently tied up, as I said before, and really Lucky doing a spectacular job of tying up in the last series. He you know, at the beginning of that game, I didn't think that he was doing too well at all. I thought it was just going to be another deja vu. I thought Polt had his number down. He denied the third. But for a Zerg to come back after losing the third expansion, it's pretty cataclysmic when you lose that third. Not just because you lose your economy and all that stuff, but it's also kind of psychological. It's like, oh crap, I lost my third. That's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. My whole builder revolves around getting the third hatchery down, and I just lost it. So for Lucky to have been able to come back in that game just shows that not only is he capable of handling things under pressure, but also he just made a statement of how solid of a player he really is to Polt. And Polt now has got to wonder, is my strategy really, is it prime? Because I killed off the third, but because I killed off the third, I also lost a large amount of my tanks. Is this really the way to victory in the long term of this series? So we'll have to see what happens, really. Now, the win rates for TVZ on this map, as I've been bringing them out to you guys time and time again, it is 40% for TVZ, which means, of course, if the Zerg here has a 60% win rate chance, historically. And I talk about this a lot on this map because the map is so wide open in the middle, and I really think that the openness of the field, especially this area right here, I don't think it's really that favoring for Terran, makes it very, very easy for Zerg to kind of just go crazy, and we might see Lucky go ahead and do just that. Also, burrowed banelings on this map can be very hidden and effective as well. There's a lot of places to hide banelings. So keep your eye out for the possibility of that. Meanwhile, we do have Lucky coming in with the drone. He saw the command center coming up, but we have a command center first opening from Polt. So Polt is going to try to get extremely greedy with it. He says he's going to combat the Zerg greed with more greed. That's the way to do it. And that supply depot did just raise up, and I don't know if Polt's going to go ahead and wall this off and trap that drone inside or not, or will Lucky go ahead and try to steal the gas? That's actually another thing that he can do. A building coming up in the top right hand corner, another barracks, and he's going to try to hide it from the drone, but the drone sees it. And I noticed right there for a second that Polt was kind of hiding the drone inside the steam vents, and he was thinking about building something over there. So he did get a second barracks up. But it's nothing too crazy, obviously, because he expanded first, and there's no potential here for really any type of crazy harass. Now, the thing here from the Zerg perspective is you got to think, if the Terran expands with a fast command center like that, you really have two options. Either you're going to commit all into some type of massive attack to try to punish the Terran for being so greedy, because you know what, Terran shouldn't be greedy. Or you're going to try to go ahead and outgreed them. That's really the Zerg nature. And we'll have to see what really what the queen of this Zerg wants Lucky to do, or the Overmind. And the SCV is making its way over into the natural. It's going to go ahead and hop over into the third or into the main from the ramp. And nothing really too crazy to see here inside the main, as there's just a gas and there's a spawning pool, and it's researching speed right now. So that's really why Polt wanted to get that SCV in there as well. He wanted to see, is there any type of potential cheese coming for me because I went so greedy, because I went for this fast command center. I would not be surprised either to see Polt, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, I would not be surprised to see him throw down more barracks, because usually if you're going to go for the command center first opening, you're not as flexible as you are with a barracks factory in the command center. You can't just, you know, decide to throw a couple of barracks down and then go into a fast starport. You have to throw down 3 to 4 barracks or more so that you've got the production to kind of balance your army out a little bit, because you really don't have any army at all. Right now, this is his army, just 5 Marines and a bunker at the front. So it's a very, very small task force right now, and if Lucky, like I said before, wanted to engage that, he certainly could. But at the moment, no signs of aggression thus yet. Speed just kicking in for the Zerglings, as they are much faster with speed on the board right now, and they are going to go ahead and control that Xel'Naga Tower in the center. That's going to be another important you know, focal point of this map as well. The Xel'Naga Tower is absolutely a place where you want to keep vision and control, because it gives you such an early warning system. Should something were to come this way, you could see and you could prepare for it right away, because the map is so vast. Another thing that Lucky is going to want to do as well is keep his overlords in the perimeters. This is where we see Lucky having an overlord at the 6 and an overlord at the 9 o'clock, and that's another important thing to do, because And you guys guessed it most likely already. It's because medevacs, especially on this map, are so damn effective. So if you get an early warning system against the medevacs and your senses, I guess, are very keen and you're looking at the mini-map, then you can prepare accordingly and you can deflect it. Speaking of which, there's this little interesting thing that some of the pro gamers used to tell me that they would do. They would actually set up their monitor right in front of their eyes so that the mini-map was right in front of their eyes. So if you think about it, it would be more oriented to the top right. The mini-map would be directly in front of them. And they would do that so that they could train themselves to always look at the mini-map. I think Cats, Paulo Vieira, you guys might know him or might not. Root Cats, used to be Root Cats, now Complexity Cats, told me about that at MLG. So that's very interesting. And hold that thought. Something very interesting is happening in the middle right now. We have an Eco Baneling bus coming out from Lucky. Wow, I did not see this, and now this is going to be an absolute all-in from Lucky. And I was saying this before, is he going to all-in or is he going to macro out of it? He is going to all-in, and I hope that Polt has been paying attention to his mini-map. Doesn't even have anything on the map, so it doesn't even matter. Now the Banelings are inside. That's got to be all she wrote, man. And I think Lucky is about to go 2-1 in this series with an absolute cheese play with his Banelings. Is he going to be able to get up the natural? He is in the ramp right now. Those Marines are microing pretty well, spreading out against the Banelings just to mitigate that damage. And all the Banelings have detonated, but not that many SCVs have gone down. But that's the job of the Zerglings now, to get in there and flood into the main and start to damage those SCVs. And oh my good lord, so many SCVs are about to hit the floor here on the Tika Shipyard. This is going to be an SCV graveyard, but Polt holds on. Polt holds on with his 4 or 3 barracks. I don't know where the 4th barracks went, but he did lose 10 SCVs so far, so that is a huge loss. The Baneling also detonating itself to delay the command center as well in its construction phase, so that's another nice little micro maneuver. Polt actually does have 4 barracks, so one located a little bit more to the north, but damn, Lucky just exacted so much damage on Polt, and certainly now has evened this game up. Now, does he want to continue to commit to this attack or not is the question, because I would say he's not ahead. Because remember, the Terran did expand right away because he expanded right away, he has tons of mule energy, he has tons of SCV production potential. The Zerg did not expand to the 3rd right away. So right now it's a 2 base versus 2 base affair. Yes, Lucky did kill off some SCVs, but it's nothing too critical. And right now the game is pretty even. So is Lucky going to commit to this? And I think the answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen, is a resounding yes. Look at how many Zerglings and Banelings he's making right now. He is totally all in at this point, and there are Marauders here sort of serving as a human wall. Is it going to be enough? No, the Zerglings are going to eat that up quite easily. Those Marauders go down. Quite simply put, those Zerglings are ravenous wolves, and I don't know how Polt is going to be able to hold this off. There are so many Banelings. How many Banelings does he have? 22 Banelings right now. I think Polt's best strategy right now is start building some walls at the front, and he realizes that he's going to try to bring the factory over here and land it at the choke point. If Lucky were really creative, he would actually put some Zerglings under that right now, but there are some Marines on the high ground, so I guess he can't really pull that off. Meanwhile, the Banelings are about to detonate on some SCVs. No! SCVs are, of course, quite fast. The Banelings do not have the hooks upgrade, but they're going to walk right into the barracks, detonating everything in its path. Absolute destruction and disaster right now inside the Terran main, but look at how Polt handles this so well. Absolute discipline, absolute calm demeanor, spreading out his Marines, even though his supply depots got blown up, even though he's undersupplied by 10, even though his barracks is on fire. The roof is on fire right now. He held on. He absolutely held on with the greatest of tenure and tenacity. And I just think that Polt right now is doing an absolutely fantastic job of holding off this all in. And that's what I said before. If Lucky were to go in for a phase 2 right there, that is where he puts himself in a position where he is absolutely all in. Either he better end the game, or he is going to be very, very far behind. And I think right now, after that last attack, he put himself behind once again because, quite honestly, he didn't really kill off that many SCVs in that last engagement, and he lost a shoot ton of Banelings, for lack of a better word. So that is not going to be very good at all for Lucky, and it really seems like he's going to continue on this completely suicidal tendency of creating more Zerglings and Banelings. This is absolutely suicidal at this point. Someone's got to call the hotline for him because he's making so many Zerglings and Banelings. He's not really joining up as much as I'd like him to be doing. And it almost feels like, to me, he's going to try a 3rd wave of this all-in. The problem, though, is as time goes on, the Terran will be able to muster up a tank army, and we can see now siege mode, well, it's almost complete. So Are there siege tanks on the ground? Yes, there are. And in fact, Polt has actually been able to muster up such an army that he feels confident enough to move out right now. So I really hope that Lucky does not try to go for some type of a phase 3 here. Perhaps not. Perhaps he's just making units in anticipation of a counterattack, and it's a good idea that he did, because Polt is counterattacking right now. Polt moving out across Antigua with quite the army, split up into 2 different packs, which is a little bit risky because a roaming army of Zerglings like this could pick it off, but it doesn't look like Lucky is going to do that. Instead, Lucky going to try to go for the counterattack, but siege mode is online. And it looks like Polt going to go ahead and knock at the front door here. Lucky is in a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen, but he has Zerglings on both sides of the map, and he can flank this secondary army from the behind, and he will do just that. Meanwhile, bringing the Banelings into that army at the front door. Will he be able to get a Lucky detonation or not? A little bit, sort of, but nothing too serious. Good lord, he really needs centrifugal hooks right now. That is an upgrade he desperately needs just to help those Banelings mobilize a little bit faster and get in range of the Marines, because right now, the micro from Polt, that Korean micro, is shining so bright right now that it's blinding the Banelings and making it impossible for them to hit their mark. And Polt is in the third now. Those Zerglings have got to get us around and flank. The Zerglings do not have any upgrades either. That is a direct result of Lucky going for this all-in, has not been able to tech up. Although, while I say that, armor and weapons is about to finish up. And like I said in the last video, guys, armor, getting that first is helpful because it prevents siege tanks from one-shotting your Zerglings. It does require the tanks to do 2 shots rather than 1. Thank you very much to all the commenters on YouTube for letting me know that. That was very, very appreciated. So, Polt is rolling out across the map right now with quite an army, and he's about to match up in upgrades as well with 1-1 on the way. You know what? I really feel like Polt is still in control of this game, even though he was not able to kill off the third. Hold that thought, though. The Zerglings are going to do another surround on these Marines, and most of the Marines are going to go down right there. So nice engagement right there from Lucky. Polt did save some of his forces inside that medevac, but at the end of the day, I really think Lucky came out ahead in that last battle. So really, this entire game has been a seesaw affair. It's just been back and forth and back and forth. No real side taking a huge advantage as of yet, and I really think this has been one of the more exciting StarCraft 2 Zerg versus Terrans I've cast in a while. Now we have Lucky beginning to morph out the Infestors. How many Infestors does he have out on the field? 7 already, so he's been making good use of his gas. He's also gotten his Zerglings into the 3rd expansion, and he's going to go for the Mules first. That is a smart play. Those Mules were about half used on their battery, I suppose, if they run on batteries. So they were about to, they still had a lot of mining left to do, and the Mules just went down. So that's a good play right there by Lucky. But Polt still has this mindset of his playstyle around him, and that's really establishing a forward aggressive position near the 3rd expansion, and his whole strategy, of course, is to strike and dominate that 3rd. And we can see him beginning to try to do that once again, but Lucky is counterattacking, and he is in... No, he's not going to go inside. I was going to say right there, maybe not the best idea to penetrate without protection, and right now Polt is going to try to break down the rocks over into the 3rd. Will he be able to break it down or not? The 3rd is going down, and it has gone down. So I really don't know. This is a very, very close game right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to call right now when it's this damn close. Lucky has so many Zerglings and Infestors, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to his fungal growth micro. Is he going to be able to get a pack of Marines or not? And of course, vice versa. It's going to come down to Polt spreading out his Marines against the Infestors, but the Zerglings come in, and they find a weakness amongst the tanks. They take them apart, and the fungal now comes down on the medevacs. Oh my god! I don't think that battle could have went better for Lucky, but the reinforcements did arrive, and not a moment too soon right there for Polt, man. That was a good thing that he summoned those reinforcements from wherever he brought them over from, and he brought them in right on time, because his entire fortification, his entire aggressive stance here could have been knocked off balance, but he refortified, getting a little bit too bold here on the ramp. There's just been non-stop action this entire game. I still don't know who's ahead right now. It would be very, very wise right now, though, for Lucky to go ahead and get up into Hive Tech. And yeah, he's one step ahead of me, the caster. He's going to go into Hive pretty much right now. Be great of him to migrate those drones over to the 3rd, maybe even try to expand down here to the bottom right, because it is still a 3-base affair, and I've said this time and time again, anytime you're a Zerg against a Terran, you do not want to be tied up on bases. Polt knows that. That's why he's trying to raise the embargo right now over the Zerg, prevent him from getting any type of expansions thereafter, and he is almost threatening this 3rd at this point. He is walking those tanks up there, definitely leapfrogging them a little bit closer to the Zerg lines, and now Lucky gonna go in with all of his forces, not just from the high ground, but also from the low ground. The Infestors are ready and waiting. They have so much energy saved up, and that was a beautiful fungal growth. Don't think it could get any better than that. Those medevacs are gonna have a very hard time killing through that fungal, and look at how many Infestors there are. It's such a crowd of Infestors, and really not a single one there, I don't think, went down. If we look at the units lost tab, I guess the Zerg has lost a lot more this game than the Terran, but at the end of the day, he's definitely kept his Infestors alive, and like I think it was Stefano before him, has a AAA rating on his Infestors. If you were to invest in these Infestors and their lives, you would definitely want to invest in Lucky's Infestors. And look at this, he's also going to rack up a couple more kills as well. Those medevacs were just, I don't know, just a little bit too lazy. Should have flown out of there, should have listened to their general, and I guess one of them will make it out of there. Meanwhile, back over at Polt's third, there is another command center now beginning to migrate over to the middle of the map. This is a change, though. There's no longer gold expansions here because the community was so against gold minerals that most of the tournaments now feature blue minerals rather than gold, and I actually feel like that is going to hurt the Terran quite a bit because minerals, especially if you meal the gold minerals, every time that meal returns, if you think about it, it is 50 minerals, and that is a marine each time the meal is returned. That's absolutely huge. So I really think taking out the gold hurts the Terran in the slightest bit. Obviously, gold minerals help Zerg as well, especially if you're going to go for this kind of mass circling build. But yeah, that's just a little nice thing to have in the back of your mind, just a note. And we do have Lucky going to expand over to the 3 o'clock here. I was talking about this before. This is actually such a late expansion, guys. That is a 23-minute fourth expand, and in a pro game, that is almost damn near unacceptable. Lucky has been trying to keep his third alive for so long, but the nice thing here is, oh wow, look at how many Broodlords he's got. That's the nice thing that he's got going for him right now. So he's really been able to muster up an absolutely huge army of Broodlords. And does Polt have Vikings at all right now? No, he's only got 2, so pretty much he's going to be shooting spitwads at these Broodlords, and they're just, the Broodlords are not going to have any problems at all. I actually think this could just be a game-ending push. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Polt thinking that he's got the upper hand, gonna go ahead and attack into the side of the map, take out this expansion before it can warp out, and he actually gets a kill before it gets canceled. But now the Broodlords are over the blue in the center, and Polt's Planetary Fortress unfortunately cannot shoot the air. The PF is going to have its days busy racking up kills on Broodlings, but really that is not a winning battle. You can kill Broodlings all you want; they will continually come out. They will continue to come out of those Broodlords non-stop. Polt is actually going to try to elevate some Marines while using these siege tanks as a backwards position to fall back to, but the tanks are so vulnerable to those Broodlords, and they will get picked off. Lucky, very smartly coming back to defend here because he knows his main is under attack. Meanwhile, also seeking some of his Broodlords on that army, and now the Zerglings coming in. I'm pretty sure they have the crack upgrade as well, and I'm pretty sure this Marine army is going to get taken out. Let's check the crack upgrade. No, doesn't have the crack off the streets yet. He should go to get some of that and get his Zerglings upgraded right now because they are not at full power. That spawning pool is actually going to go down as well. No, it will not. I think those Zerglings will clean it up. So Zerglings is doing a good job there defending their home, realizing they need that upgrade, man. So they do a good job there, but there's another pack of Marines from Polt. Polt is relentless. He's attacking another position here at the top. This is the third of the Zerg, but the Infestor comes in. That Infestor was not a second too soon, but it was actually too late, as a hatchery did go down. So unfortunate here for Lucky. And another Marine attack by Polt. Oh my god, this is like watching Marine King here, or perhaps even watching Slayer's MMA. His control is ungodly, and he just killed off the hive of the Zerg. Now, even though Lucky has a massive Zerg army, I'll give you that. He has tons of Infestors, Broodlords, and Corruptors. He has the late game composition designed to get the W. How is he going to sustain the war effort if he just lost all of his expansions? He's only got 1 natural left. Nothing remains. And I don't know. I think at this point, Lucky's best hope is just to make an attack. He cannot hope to macro out of this. He cannot hope to transition. There is no transitioning from here. This is essentially now your do or die. And the longer you wait, the more expansion that Polt gets. Expansions, the more money he gets, the larger his army becomes. So really, Lucky has to engage now. He has to attack. He just got completely outplayed by Polt's multitasking, sending in strike squadrons of Marines, Delta Squad and Alpha Squad left and right, and taking out hatcheries all over the map. And now it is up to the Zerg. to make this counterattack happen. He has the high ground advantage. This is another reason why I think Zerg does have a favoring on this map. They can Brute Lord from the high ground. The Brute Lords begin to rain down chaos on the SCVs below. There is a Viking there, and the Corruptor's response force is ready and waiting, and that will ward away the Viking. In fact, how many Vikings are up in the air right now? There is 8 Vikings, and I don't think that's enough to deal with these Brute Lords. But meanwhile, Polt once again drops into the main, and he's going to pick off the Evo Chambers. Nothing too serious quite yet. At the other side, the Zerg and Terran are still engaging over that middle expansion, and Polt is walking another Marine force over here, but the Infestors are there! What a fungal growth! Lucky, so wise right there to leave a couple of Infestors back home, and that is going to be able to deal with this drop force very, very easily, but his natural is under attack. Your natural is under attack, and how is Lucky going to hold this off? He's not going to have any hatcheries at all. Look, this is pretty much the last one remaining, and that's why the drones are distance mining to it. And if Lucky loses this last final hatchery, I have no idea how he's going to hope to win this game if he just sits back like this. So he's got to engage now. This is his only hope to win the game. Bring all your queens, bring all your drones, infestors, Brute Lords, corruptors, whatever. Even bring the creep and fight. There is no macroing out of this. The supplies are dead even right now. 124, 128, pretty much dead even. Polt is securing this area right here. He knows as long as he holds on to this, the longer he holds on, the better. He's going to mine more resources. He's going to make a bigger army. He needn't get greedy. He needn't overexpand. He's actually going to go ahead and grab the 9, but it's pretty much a hidden one, so it's like a backup plan. He just needs to hold off this Zerg engagement, and that is a big Zerg engagement force. Here comes Lucky. He's gonna go ahead and drop off some infested Terrans to try to absorb tank fire, but the tanks were not sieged up, so those infested Terrans will have to walk forward and try to do something useful. Lucky is gonna try to get a fungal growth down, and he will do that. He's gonna chain fungal the Vikings. If he can get rid of all these Vikings, he's actually got a really good shot because he has such a large Brute Lord army. Now the infested Terrans come out. There isn't that many Vikings on the field right now, only 8 Vikings, and I have no idea why Polt is not making more Vikings. Where is his starport at? No idea where his Vikings production is at, because right now he needs a lot of Vikings, and his mineral field is under attack. The planetary fortress is going to go down. It's a massive infestation of apocalypse of infested Terrans. It's like a zombie infestation. Resident Evil is here, and Lucky just took out the planetary fortress. There is an expansion mining over here, but it is scouted by the Overlord. Another Marine force from Polt. Polt is continuing the counterattacks. He knows that his chance and shot of closing out this game is to continue to distract the Zerg and buy more time to build more forces. Now Lucky is expanding onto the middle platform. This game is out of control. I literally have no idea who is going to win this game at this point. It is really, really getting a little crazy right now. And Lucky has sent his infestors over to the left. He will spawn infested Terrans over there, and the infested Terrans should be able to clean up those SCVs and prevent any additional mining. That orbital command will have to run back home. And really now, it's just Lucky with the Zerg outpost in the center of the map, a handful of drones, and a crap ton of Brute Lords against the Terran. And the Terran Viking production is starting to ramp up again, I would imagine. No, it's not actually. It's going to transition into Thors. And that is not a bad idea at all, because Thors can splash the crap out of the air. And so Lucky has to engage now before those Thors get large in number, before the Viking force gets even larger. And he knows that, but I just don't know why he's not attacking. You know what? You know what? I just thought of this right now. Lucky's plan right here might be to starve the Terran out. Hold that thought. Polt coming in with the Marines. He is going to get fungaled. Those Marines will get taken out so easily. You know what? Polt's... Now I'm going to go back to my original train of thought. You know what Lucky's strategy might be here? Is to starve the Terran out, because he knows that that third is the only mining base remaining, and it is running out of money. If he can starve him out because he has control over the center, then he should theoretically win, because the Terran cannot produce enough Vikings to keep up, nor the anti-air he needs, to deal with these Brute Lords. So that might be his strategy here. As weird and radical and crazy and insane as it might sound, that might be what he's trying to do. Now he is going to try to make an attack though. So there is a lot of Marines there. Can he get the fungals he needs to do to get this game in the bag? He's launching the fungal growth down right now, but the Infestor's taking loads of damage, and the Vikings so well spread out. Look at the concave of the Vikings. The Vikings are just going to close in like the call of the Valkyries, taking out all the Brute Lords. The Queens left remaining here. The Infestor's running away, and there is a GG from Lucky. That was one of the best games that I have seen in a long time. That was so spectacular to watch. That was amazing. And Lucky just barely able to get the to get in there and almost take the W. Of course, at the end, it was Polt who was able to win out. So that does mean that this series is now going to be a 2-1 in favor of Polt. Hold on tight, guys and girls. We're going to go on to game 4 after this. Hope you guys enjoyed so far. And this is HD signing out.